Well, it's looking like Just Pearly and the Manosphere, or should I say the Black Manosphere, has some questions they need to answer and some soul searching they need to be doing. Because this girl just went out in a fiery blaze. Well, I wouldn't say fiery blaze, but definitely just exposed herself in her true nature. See, money doesn't change you. Money just shows who you really are and who you've been all along. And this is a thing that I want to talk about. I want to talk. Sarah brings up a good point about a colonizer mindset. This colonizer mindset, I notice, is not just Pearly. It's just Pearly. It's Vlad. It's Adam22. There are a lot of white YouTube creators that have this colonization mindset that 90 to 100% of their content come from black YouTube creators or black people. And they take this content and they monetize it and find a way to keep all the profits. Listen to what Sarah, and this is a man who produced Just Pearly. He didn't work under her, work for her. This is a man that she went to him to work in his studio. Listen to what Sarah said about Just Pearly.
That video was filmed in 2022. And in that video, what you saw was me attempting to tell Pearl and show Pearl what colonization was like. How people went to another group of people and took their resources and took what was theirs and built their empire off of it. So when Pearl now plays like she doesn't know what colonization is and she doesn't know what slavery is, and she says these insensitive statements, in that video I actually attempted to give her a book. It was called How Europe Underdeveloped Africa. I've read it myself. She semi-dismissed that book. She kind of dismissed that book. And then she went on with herself to go and interview a man like Nick Fuentes. Pearl has Africans that work for her. Now, Nigeria has many issues. Now, the disparity in Nigeria has rich and poor people living just on the breadline. And Pearl has these types of people working for her. They edit her videos. They make her thumbnails. So Pearl has taken people on from Africa, which on the surface looks like a good thing. And I guess it is. Africans are being fed. They're taking money from her. They are feeding their family. Amazing. However, with a colonial mindset, this can be quite dangerous. And what happened during that interview with Nick Fuentes was that she used an age-old tactic that colonizers use, which was the divide and rule tactic. She pitted African Americans versus Africans when she spoke about how hard Africans work compared to how hard African Americans work. And she also used the term, my Africans. Much of what Pearl says is determined by her management, which she has said to me on many occasions that she shares with Candace Owens.
See how the pieces to the puzzle just start falling into place? So your management is Candace Owens. So you have a black woman that's married to a white man that clearly can't stand black people, managing a 26-year-old white girl that's giving relationship advice that doesn't have any kind of relationship. And the issue that I find, not the issue, but one of the issues that I find with this, Just Pearly came around like around 2021. She wasn't around when Kevin Samuels was alive. And if she was, I didn't see her, which is another issue. Kevin Samuels' death created a vacuum for YouTube creators to fill. Now you have people like this that don't even believe what they're saying, that is being managed by people that don't like black people to give relationship advice. And it's the manosphere is black and white. But most of the content creators I see on Just Pearly page is 99% black. And this Nick Fuentes dude. Keep going.
So when you have a colonial mindset and you have a management who tell you what to say, what generally happens in my personal point of view and what I actually saw was that she began to start paying people pittance. She began to start offering contracts to people that owned them, just like a colonial master would. Case in point, Myself and Pearl sat down to have a conversation about me signing to her contractually. And I want to make this very clear. I have never signed to the Just Pearly Things network. I have always been an independent. Pearl has known that, and I have known that. And so anytime I worked with Pearl, we had agreed a fee, and I worked for that fee. I have never been signed to the Just Pearly Things contracts. However, she has signed a few Africans, namely King Riches and Auntie Jenny. Now, I have no problem with a King Riches or an Auntie Jenny. However, if we look at the contracts that they signed, you would understand the reason why I use the term colonization and colonial. Now, myself and Pearl sat down to have a conversation, and she expressed to me that she wanted to do a new segment for her show. In that segment, she said that she would like me to present a topical news show on a day-to-day basis. So I said, okay, no problem. Talk to me. What are we talking about? And she said she would want me within her studio 4 days per week. I said, okay, from what time? She said from 10 in the morning till 5 o'clock in the evening. And I said, okay, well, that is 7 hours. I said, so working 4 to 5 days a week for 7 hours is essentially a day job. I said to her, okay, so what is my guaranteed fee at the end of the month? What is the salary? And she looks at me and she says, we do not do guarantees and we do not do salaries. So I said, so if you don't do guarantees and you don't do salaries, what is it that you actually do? And she said she does percentages. So I said, okay, cool. Well, what's the percentage? She said, Sarah, you're the high end, so you will get 70-30. So I said, fine, okay, let me listen. 70% goes to me and 30% goes to you. Now she looked at me and she said, no, 70% goes to me, Pearl, and 30% goes to me, Sarah Garvey. And that's when I started scratching my head. And I said, hang on a minute. So are you telling me that's a high-end contract for you? And she said, yes. And I said, so are you saying that Just Pearly Things Network has other people on low-end contracts? She said, yes. I said, King Riches and Auntie Jenny? She said, yes. I said, what's the low end? She said, it's 10 to 15%. So essentially, she could be owning 80% of the content, which is basically the monetized views on somebody's channel, and they only take home 15% of the money? She said yes.
It's the fact that I believe him when he said that she was talking just like that with that same tone and straight face. I could see it. I could just picture it. Imagine telling somebody that 30% of something is it's a contract on the high end. But don't worry, you not like these other niggas over here, because they only getting 10 to 15% a piece. So you own 80% of the content and the other people is doing the work? If that's not colonization, I don't know what is. Yo, if any of the black content creators end up on her page after this, end up on her platform at her studio after this, it's crazy. And I know there's a good amount of them out there, but this was good exposure for her. So everybody that was in doubt or not clear where she stand, we know exactly where she stand. Well, I never really fucked with her anyway, because I get girls, and people who get girls don't take advice from a Just Pearly. But that's all I got for you now. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out.